welcome to the show. Today on the Heart of Innovation, we're talking with someone whose impact on our nation's veterans is nothing short of extraordinary. A great way to honor our veterans with Veterans Day just this week. John Wordin, or JW as we call him, is the founder and president of Project Hero and founder of the LifeScore Health platform. And for more than 17 years, he's been creating programs that help veterans improve their physical and mental health, including many who have been able to reduce or even come off insulin through the supportive lifestyle systems that he has built. Before dedicating his life to veterans, John was an elite cyclist, a U.S. national championship bronze medalist who led the Mercury cycling team to 535 wins. Imagine that. And 7 straight North American Team of the Year titles. And recently, his work with veterans was recognized on a national stage. He received the Warrior Lifeline Award as well as the American Exceptionalism Award, honoring his extraordinary contributions to veteran resilience, recovery, and well-being. John's story, or JW's story, is about innovation, service, and an unwavering commitment to those who served our country. And we are honored to have him with us today. Welcome, JW. My amazing co-host, J-Dubs, Dr. John Phillips. He is in the middle of an emergency trying to save a patient with a STEMI, and so he will not be here today, but he sends warm regards and congratulations for all of your success. So thank you for being here today and for all you do for our veterans.
Thank you for having me, Kym.
So we always kick off our show with a moment of inspiration. So Christy, our producer, kick it off because JW, he has a quote for all of us today.
Dr. John Phillips' spectacular vascular moment of inspiration.
I love it. That never gets old, even when he's not here. JW. You know what, actually, we have a live studio audience here for the Heart of Innovation, and we do have a veteran we actually honored this week. We have Heinz with us. And before you share your quote, what if we bring in Heinz in our live studio audience to share one that he has? Heinz, go ahead and share your quote of the day.
Well, this quote is from Bob Marley. If you know who Bob Marley
Oh, yeah.
He was a reggae singer. He died young. But his quote was, you never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice.
Wow. What does that mean for you? I mean, especially being a P.A.D. warrior and a veteran. I mean, those words ring highly true, don't they?
They definitely do. Yes, especially you know, when you feel bad about, that, hey, I have this disease, you have to try and boost yourself up and try to bring yourself to being stronger and just look at it as a nuisance or something you'll get over.
Yeah. And you know what, Heinz? I think you should stay with us in honor of Veterans Day. And because we are interviewing someone who is helping veterans, why don't you stick around and guest co-host with me today throughout the show? So jump in with any questions you have at any point. It's always like the firing squad, like a press conference, whoever jumps in and can talk louder and faster and more to drown out the other to get the question in. And then we'll put JW in the hot seat, right, JW?
No problem.
So what did you think of his quote? And then share one of your own as well.
No, his quote's great. I mean, you got to put yourself out there and, it's do or don't do.
Okay, so your quote.
My quote is, the future belongs to the bold.
I love that. And especially you have been so bold in helping veterans. I just see a bright future for what you are doing with your platforms and helping veterans with their physical and mental well-being, especially with LifeScore. I can't wait to hear more about that. But first, I'm curious, you're not a veteran yourself, and yet you got into helping veterans. What was that moment of inspiration, that aha moment for you that got you involved in helping those who served our country?
So I did officer candidate school for the Marine Corps when I was in college. So that was kind of
You
my
did?
military experience, if you will.
Oh,
But I had been a professional cyclist, and I got this call from the VA in 2007 asking about setting up an adaptive sports program for their suicide prevention program. And so at that time, I was at a time in my life where I was sort of looking for what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And so I went up there and we did a bike ride with a group of veterans, and
yeah.
just in talking to them on the ride and listening to their stories and listening to what they were dealing with, I'm like, I can do this, and it's really important. And that was sort of we sat on the curb, myself and these two other clinicians, we sat on the curb after the ride, and we just basically laid out exactly what the program was going to be. And 3 months later, I was in the secretary of the VA's office
You're kidding.
telling him, and we were off and rolling.
I mean, did it just seem too easy for you? I mean, it just seemed like 1 minute you're a cyclist and the next minute you're suddenly, with one of the highest ranked people in Veterans Affairs, launching a program to help the thousands and thousands of veterans across the country.
Well, that's how you know that what your idea is pretty important or has a high priority. Is when it happens that fast, and all of a sudden you're in the office of the Secretary of the VA. And then, we decided to do a demonstration ride, because there were naysayers that thought it was a dumb idea. So we decided to do a ride at Walter Reed with a small handful of patients there and a couple folks from the VA. And I was smart enough or lucky enough or fortunate enough or whatever the karma was to invite this guy, Sal Rubel, who was a USA Today sports writer,
yeah,
who had covered me during my cycling career. And I knew he lived in Washington, D.C., and he liked to ride bikes. So I just invited him to just come along for the ride. And
literally,
he wrote a front page story about the ride and how it moved him and how important it was to him. And 2 days later, I got a call from Senator John Kerry asking if I could come meet with him to explain what we were trying to do.
Talk about being bold. Well, coming up next right here on The Heart of Innovation, we're going to have more on the great success of John Wordin, JW, on helping veterans across our country. So stay with us right here on The Heart of Innovation. Don't go away.
How many procedures are you willing to go through? Is it worth going through that many, or would you rather just step
That's funny. Was it worth it? Oh yeah, I have my leg, man.
Amputation should absolutely, positively, 100% never be a first-line treatment.
What an incredible operation, what an incredible lab you have here. Without a doubt, we're underdiagnosing peripheral arterial disease. It has not gotten the attention that it should, because it is a killing disease, it is a disabling disease, and most importantly, it's a disease that we now have great treatments for. Okay, let's go to the next one.
They were going to amputate it, and I needed to consult with my family. Did I want it off here or here? You're just shocked. It's scary. I don't even know how to explain it. You're 42 years old.
We're waiting till people are at the end of the spectrum and almost beyond hope. There is good care available here. Closed minds are what we have to get rid of.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Dr. John is he's on call today, and he is saving one of a patient's life who has a STEMI over there in Ohio. So we are sending some good energy his way into that of the patient, that it all goes well and it's a success. But meantime, here in studio, we have John Wordin, who we call JW, and he is talking about his story where he's been able to help so many veterans across the country, starting with a foundation of cycling and an event with cycling that ended up getting great coverage. It caught the attention of Senator John Kerry, and we're going to hear in just a few moments where that took him to ultimately where we are today. But I want to bring in my guest co-host, Heinz, for the day, because Heinz is a veteran. We featured him this week, and you can go to youtube.com/the @ the way to my heart to hear his incredible journey as, from the military clear to now, and as a P.A.D. warrior. We always talk about P.A.D. meaning poor circulation in the legs, peripheral artery disease. But Heinz, you've heard some of JW's story. What do you think so far? And do you have any questions for JW as we head into our second segment here?
Yeah, JW, what kind of reception did you initially get from the veterans?
The veterans loved it. I mean, that has been and always, even today, after 17 years, continues to be the number one thing. It's like, I don't advertise, everything is word of mouth. And, we did that first ride with just, like I said, a small handful of guys. I think there's some pictures in that bio thing that I sent you earlier, Kym, of that ride. And then we after that March event that we did at Walter Reed that got the coverage in USA Today, we had plans to do this ride from Walter Reed to the Coca-Cola 600 NASCAR race over Memorial Weekend. And so,
oh, no way.
So we were planning that ride. And so we ended up that very first ride in May of 2008, we had 14 riders, 7 from Walter Reed and 7 from Fort Bragg. And within 20 minutes after leaving Walter Reed, one of my big sponsors from Shimano, he had sponsored me my entire cycling career. And so I invited him to come out on this ride. And 20 minutes, we're just coming out of Rock Creek Park, if you know Washington, D.C. at all. And we're heading south there. And he goes, this is going to be big. This is going to be really big. So that was 20 minutes into the ride, and he wasn't wrong.
So talk about how that ride has actually evolved. You decided you wanted to move on. How many rides have you had since that one inaugural event?
So we've done 60 of these week-long rides over the last 70 years. And then we've probably done a few hundred,
70,
like 60 multi-day rides. So like week-long rides that we would do. And then we've probably done a few hundred one-day events all across the country. And, we estimate that we've had about 30,000 veterans participate in one of our events over those years.
Wow.
For 17 years, this has been, that's pretty incredible that you've had so much success clear across the country. What is the largest group that you've had at one of these events of veterans?
So we had 350 riders on the 10th anniversary of 9/11. So we did a ride from New York to Shanksville and finished at the Pentagon. So we left on the 10th anniversary of 9/11, and that was amazing. And then we had probably over 400 riders the last day, because people would come in and ride a day here or a day there. But it was incredible because we had family members and survivors from the World Trade Center. We had family members from Shanksville, and then we had family members and survivors from the Pentagon come in and speak to the group. So like, for example, the American Airlines pilot, we had the sister of the pilot that crashed into the Pentagon come out and speak. We had Todd Beamer, the famous Let's Roll. His dad came out and spoke to us at Shanksville.
Yeah.
And then we had a number of survivors and family members from the World Trade Center.
And, is there any one particular story of a veteran that still today just reminds you of how worthwhile these events are and the impact that they have on every single veteran that participates?
Yeah, the story I often tell, and I told it at the Kennedy Center event, was Delvin McMillan. Delvin came to me, and we did this ride in Florida at the end of 2009, and I'm sitting there like on the Monday or Tuesday after the ride had finished, and my phone rings, and it's Delvin, and he goes, "Hey, my name's Delvin McMillan. I was just in the airport in Florida, and I saw a bunch of your guys from the ride, and I want to do that." And so I said, "Great." And he goes, "Well, I don't have any arms or legs." And so I said, "Okay." And I had him send me some pictures of what he was dealing with. And then he goes, "I only want to do it if I can ride an upright bike. I want to ride an upright bike." And so I called all around, and
Oh my goodness.
more or less it has never been done, or it had never been done up to that point. So I called my buddy at Shimano that I mentioned earlier, and I said, "Send me handlebar systems, braking systems." So whether it was a BMX bike, a mountain bike, a road bike, a triathlon bike, I just got all the different pieces. And then for about 6 weeks through trial and error, I just kept trying to figure out the combination of things so that he could shift, brake, and steer without crashing.
You're kidding. You actually built this with your bare hands.
Yeah, in my warehouse. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So when we were successful at doing it, that changed the lives of so many veterans after that, because it proved, hey, I always had the saying, if Delvin could do it, you could do it. And so that pretty much rang true, because if you could have a quad amputee ride a regular upright bike, and he successfully completed the Texas Challenge the following spring, which was our first event of the year. And I mean, like I said, every veteran, anyone sitting around a hospital or Walter Reed or whatever, I was getting calls from all of them, because all of a sudden they realized, hey, if Delvin could do it, I can do it. And so that definitely changed the trajectory of the program. That's Delvin. So
oh, no way. See,
we built this whole handlebar system for him.
Interesting. Wow.
This is actually the second version of it, because the second version, we were able to make it with disc brakes, so he could actually do better. This is a bike we made for a blind Dissertec Marine, and this is us participating in the LA Marathon. This is a guy with no arms who did the Leadville 100 mountain bike race on that bike.
Oh, out here in Colorado?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Because I was going to ask a question. My friend Douglas was out there asking, do you do this in Texas? It sounds like you do it in Colorado.
We do it everywhere.
Okay.
And you're still doing it?
Yeah, we still do it. This is one of the survivors of the Boston Marathon bombing. So we did something for him.
Wow.
There's the same guy with on a road bike. And then these are these EOD guys, and they always got blown up.
You must have had a moment with Delvin as we're heading into break here with 30 seconds left. There must have been some inspiring words that still stick with you today that really speak to his mindset and perseverance. What are they?
Well, I would say a couple things. One, there was this VA expert that I called as I was developing the how to do it. And I asked him, how are we going to do this? And he said, well, we could put him on a hand cycle. And I said, he doesn't have any hands. And he hung up on me. But the first ride we did with Delvin, and there's some pictures that I sent you of that ride. You could see the smile on his face, just grinning from ear to ear. So because I'm not the smartest guy in the world, I had decided that I was going to put this big training wheel on the bike so that he didn't have to worry about clipping in and out of the bike. He could just ride. But my naivete or ignorance of road camber was very lacking, shall we say. So we're doing this ride and we're going through this rural area, about 5 or 6 miles from the warehouse. And the road is cambered because that's how the roads drain, right, from the rain.
And coming up next, right here on the Heart of Innovation, we are nice cliffhanger, JW. You got to hear the end of the story and how it's inspiring so many, and it'll soon inspire you. So stay with us right here on the Heart of Innovation on KDOW. Don't go away.
Your type of condition is called critical limb ischemia. It's the most advanced form of P.A.D. or peripheral arterial disease.
Every 4 minutes, there is an amputation in this country due to P.A.D. and diabetes. We also know that 85% of these amputations are preventable with early intervention.
It's a flip of the coin. Patient prognosis is tied to whether or not they are referred to a true expert in the management of peripheral arterial disease.
Do you know if your physician is an experienced CLI operator?
When you're in the hospital dealing with doctors and stuff, you figure they know what they're talking about.
The skill level varies doctor from doctor and hospital to hospital.
Patients with limb threat are in constant fear. The depression that someone experiences after they lose a limb is equivalent to those of losing their spouse of 40 years.
I was stuck in a wheelchair close to 2 years and my husband had to quit work.
I didn't know what to do at this point because we had nothing but infections and hospital stays and infections and hospital stays.
And they took one toe, another toe, and then it was another toe, and then half his foot before he was even diagnosed with P.A.D.
And all I heard was, "What are we doing here? Just cut it off." And I pulled the curtain back like, "Are you kidding me?
Do you really want to go through all that?"
That's crazy. That's insane. The protocol is to send them to amputation. Always, always, always get multiple opinions.
We do have options. We need to listen more to our patients.
If you're going to chop off their leg anyway, why not just let someone else try?
This is the progression. First comes the wounds, and then comes an amputation. And I wasn't going to accept that.
So that's what it's like to try to save a leg.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Dr. John is literally off saving a life. He's on call at Ohio Health, and he has a patient with a STEMI, and so we're sending them good energy. Meantime, back here in studio, we have John Wordin, JW. He is the founder of Project Hero. He is the founder of LifeScore Health as well, a great platform for veterans. But before the break, you left, it was an amazing cliffhanger. You have this gentleman, a veteran, who has no arms, no legs, and he wants to participate in one of your rides, and he thinks he's safe. You built this incredibly adaptive bicycle for him to be able to participate in your ride, and he's thinking he's safe, and then what happened?
I forgot to account for the camber of roads, and so when the training wheel hit the high spot on a road, it launched Delvin into this dirt and boulder section off the road, and they have these gigantic boulders to prevent cars from going into the ditch, and so Delvin went launching to the boulders, and I turned to the other guys that were on the ride. And I go, "Oh my God, we killed Delvin!" And Delvin gets up, dusts himself off, and goes, "Let's go." And he's like, it didn't deter him at all. And when you have prosthetics, you don't have to worry about road rash. So he just got right back on. And I said, "We need to go find a wrench and get that training wheel off before we kill him for real."
My God.
So
those
JW,
are definitely memorable words. Go ahead, Heinz.
A lot of these veterans have physical disabilities. Have you encountered any that have them emotional or mental disabilities? And have you seen that when they're riding that it has changed their outlook for the positive?
Yeah, the endorphins, right?
That was the biggest breakthrough, I would say, of the whole program. Was after like 2010, 2011, there were less physical injury guys because we had wound down the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, so fewer guys were coming back. But yet we were getting more and more new people to the ride, and particularly female veterans. So there were two areas that we were getting. One was the MST trauma survivors on the female veteran side, and then the other was the PTSD traumatic brain injury folks that were on the psychological side. And it actually led to a study in 2016 by Georgetown University. They did a study on our program because the mental health benefits were freaking out the guys at the NICO at Bethesda.
That's incredible. So could you have one particular story of someone who said, thanks to your ride, thanks to participating in the whole process, I literally feel like I have hope again?
Where do I start? There's like thousands of those stories. So just because it just happened recently, there's a group of people that have been associated with the program for a long time. So there's one particular Army veteran, and he lost his wife to cancer. And so he went into a very big tailspin depression, and he was actually very suicidal himself. And he came out on the ride, and cycling is very unique because it's much a social as much as a physical, mental, emotional experience, and you're outside. And by doing the adaptive bikes, everybody feels equal because we all ride in a group. And so that was one of my big rules, was no one rides alone, we all ride together. And so we would have different groups so you could account for different speeds. But this particular gentleman, one day he goes, I would like to speak. So we'd always let the veterans, one or two veterans a night come up and speak at dinner. And so one night he started talking, and he just recounted the story of how depressed he was. And basically he said that this program, this ride, saved my life.
Oh, wow, that is incredible. I mean, I just want to reiterate to you, this isn't just a ride. This is a week-long gathering that you also mentioned, that there is the camaraderie, there are the dinners, the social aspect is just as important as, well, even more important than the physical. But were you surprised that just a week-long event could have such a profound impact on these veterans? Did you have any question or any doubt in your mind going into this that suddenly on the impact you would have?
I had no doubt. Like I said, 20 minutes into the very first ride, the guy goes, this is going to be really big.
Yeah.
It was like, just the way I described the ride is, everybody remembers the first day they rode their bike without training wheels, where they got that freedom, that independence. They were no longer tethered to their parent.
Yeah.
They accomplished a goal. They did something, the wind in their face, that feeling. And that's when people ask me to describe what the program was like, that was what the program was like. It was like that first day where you rode without training wheels, and how you felt that first 5-10 feet after your parent let you go, that euphoria that you feel, that was every day of the program.
Wow, I think just through hearing you, on this show, I think you're going to inspire so many people to get out and cycle. And coming up next, right here on The Heart of Innovation, we're going to talk about how the first cycling event and those beyond led to development of the LifeScore Health platform to continue to help veterans in so many ways. So stay with us right here on The Heart of Innovation on KDOW. Don't go away.
In my opinion, if you don't use it, you will lose it, right? And the most important thing is to realize is the exercise that you do not only saves your limbs, it saves your life. Right? Yeah. You prevent heart attack, you prevent stroke, and you prevent losing your toes, right? So everything that you do from a exercise standpoint is beneficial. And my ultimate goal for you is not only to keep you here longer, but to keep you here longer doing the things that you want to do, right? right? And then the other thing is this, my motivation for you is you're on a whole bunch of medicines. If you get it moving, you drop your weight, you'll get your blood pressure under better control. I will drop some of these medicines. You'll get your diabetes under better control. I will drop some of these medicines. You'll get your cholesterol under better control. Again, I will drop some of these medicines. So if you do what you tell me you're going to do, I will do what I tell you that I'm going to do. So I think that's, you're taking a hold of your life.
Hello, this is Heinz. I'm a veteran, and I'm pinch hitting for Dr. John Phillips today, enjoying this. And we have JW along with us, and we were discussing on the break about the evolution of how this all went from the beginning to now. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So like I was mentioning earlier, they put together a Georgetown study looking specifically at the mental health benefits of my program, because all these severely PTSD, traumatic brain injury folks were coming to the program, and they were coming back better than what the clinical treatments were doing.
Wow.
So,
with just 1 week. With just 1 week.
Yeah. So it was freaking people out. And it wasn't like, it was wild because we had been doing the program at that point for like 8 years. So we'd seen I guess you call that anecdotal. I didn't need some researcher to tell me what was going on. You see it every time we do a program. And so they wanted to look at specifically depression, anxiety, PTSD, social functioning, isolation, those kind of things. And so what they found was that obviously everyone that participated in the program improved. And then there was a control group, and the control group did what the control group did. But the thing that was really fascinating to the researchers was that the intervention showed significant improvement, and normally you revert back to the start. You revert back to the mean as you go along. The effects of the intervention go down. But in my program, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months later, people were still maintaining their improvements or continuing to improve, and they didn't have an answer for that. And I had an answer for it.
What was your answer?
Well, because we had changed their lifestyle, so they continued on, and with the peer support, because of the social fitness component of how it was constructed, they would stay connected to people that they met at the program. And so they would always check in on each other and go, hey, did you ride today? Or how's it going? Or any of those kinds of things. So they continued to get better. So that caught the attention of the VA. And so I was one of the first VSOs to be an official suicide prevention partner of the VA. And in the course of that, you get invited to these monthly meetings with the suicide prevention people. And in one of those meetings, they were presenting their behavioral health autopsy program, which looks at approximately 3,000 suicides post-mortem. So it looks at it from the patient perspective, the family perspective, the clinician perspective. The bad part is the people are already dead, so you're not helping anybody. But hopefully you're going to learn from what you found. And so they found all these common themes or common behavioral health risks is what I call it. And I'm like, I just blurted out, like, why aren't we measuring those things? Like giving people some information about their behavioral health risks so you can help them before they put the gun in their hand or before they get ready to harm themselves. And like no one had ever thought of that, I guess. And so I was like, immediately in my brain, I came up with this idea of we need a credit score for your life. I wrote it down. I go, we need a credit score for your life, because everybody loves a number. And if you have a number, you know how you're doing. So immediately I figured out, okay, we're going to measure mental health, spiritual health, physical health, sleep, food, and nutrition, because I wanted to understand if people were self-medicating. And there's a variety of other things that we look into. But the idea is you give people a score. It's based on the 80, 90, 70, 60 framework. So everybody knows what your number is. Hey, I know how I'm doing. And then if someone, let's say Heinz, I'm your buddy, I see your number 60, I'm going, Heinz is struggling and I can help you now. And so we've created that framework through a technology device, through an app because everybody has a phone and everybody loves a little friendly competition. So I can see what your number is. You can see what my number is. All the buddies from our platoon back in the day, we can see what their numbers are, and we can find each other and help each other and keep each other accountable and keep each other in the game of life.
Well, how do you prevent that from becoming a shame work? So many of these men and women who've served in the military are very proud, and they might not want that to be displayed to everyone else. And do you find that maybe they're not honest about how they're feeling because of fear of shame in sharing it?
Well, the user controls who sees and who doesn't see their information, and no one can see how you answer the questions. So we've taken out any type of stigma related things that we could think of, but you have to be able to connect to people. So it's people you trust. So if Heinz is my buddy, I want him to see my number. So if I get into trouble, he can help me.
Fantastic. Well, coming up next right here on The Heart of Innovation, we're going to find out more about the LifeScore Health platform and how you can get involved. So stay with us right here on The Heart of Innovation on KDOW. Don't go away.
Patients that we see nowadays that I think of years in the past that had had some devices that are currently available, either on the market or in research, I feel like we would have been able to give them not just a good result, but also a durable solution. And I think, being well tuned to that, not just rigorous scientific data, which is of course important to move the field forward, but also, like I said, medical technology, being involved with clinical trials, I think is very, very important. So I could think of many, many cases I would like to say in the past that, were very challenging at the time. And nowadays, because of our aggressive involvement with other colleagues, with organizations like yours, with medical technologists and industry, we've been able to now develop devices or procedures or programs to help solve some of these problems that were much more challenging in the past.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Dr. John is off actually literally saving a life. We're in studio, though, with JW, who is saving the lives, I think, of thousands of veterans across the country through his amazing rides, the cycling events, one coming up in the spring in California. Before we get back into your LifeScore Health platform, where can people find out about that particular ride? If they're a veteran, they want to participate, maybe there's a sponsor that wants to get involved.
Yeah, you can just go to our website, lifeaidhope.org, and you can see the different tabs, and one of the tabs is events, and we'll list our different events. We do a lot of things with the local sports teams, and then we do these, like I said, our big thing is social fitness, so we do these hike, bike, boat, barbecue events in Newport Beach throughout the year, and then we're trying to expand our functional medicine offerings to veterans so that they can get off their prescription drugs.
Yeah, let's talk more about the functional medicine and the LifeScore Health platform and the offerings that you have for not only veterans, but anyone can actually sign up, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the LifeScore app is a free download on either the App Store or the Google Play Store. And it measures your life across these 6 whole health domains. And then we look at mindset, we look at life experience, health history, demographics. And the idea is to give people actionable information. So we give you your score, we give you what your score means, and then the app will send you tasks and resources specific to your challenges so that you can improve.
And, how many people do you have on the platform now? Do you have a few hundred people, a few thousand people? I know you're building this out and you're currently scaling.
That's correct. Yeah, we have a few thousand users right now. And we have a big project coming up with the government, and we have some things that we want to try to do with the Make America Healthy Again movement, because it's really, oftentimes, especially RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz and Dr. Jay Bhattacharya are really big on whole health and giving people, information so that they can improve their life. Because if you can reduce chronic disease, chronic pain, you can really improve people's health and the healthcare system and how the healthcare system works.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where anyone, falls politically. It's literally about, if there are efforts to try and make people healthy, how can we get involved? And how can we argue with you and your platform and your events that have truly had a tangible impact on veterans and continue to do so? So in the last 30 seconds here, tell us how you hope the LifeScore Health platform will evolve and who you're looking for to get involved with the platform to help drive it forward.
Yeah, so our big thing is like 62% of our participants reduce or eliminate their prescription drug use. And so that makes people healthier. And what do you know, if you eliminate prescription drug use, you feel better, you're more apt to go outside and get some exercise, you sleep better. And so we're really looking, like I said, to connect with the MAHA folks, and it's exactly what they want.
Appreciate you, JW. And thank you, Heinz, for pinch hitting for Dr. John. Have a great week.
When your sugar runs high, it's more than a sign. Diabetes creeping in, it's a dangerous line. Pre-diabetes too, don't think it's too light. It can lead to PA.D, so start the fight. Sugar's sweet, but the cost is real. High blood sugar makes your arteries feel clogged. Slow flow, it's a ticking time bomb. Catch it early, stay strong, and keep your legs on. Sugar's not so sweet when your leg is in pain. Not controlling sugar is where peripheral artery disease sets in. Got sugar? Get checked. Don't wait too late. Save your legs, save your life, take control of your fate. Leg pain, cold feet, neuropathy too. These are signs diabetes caught you. High sugar's the link where circulation and pain left untreated. Your leg might end inflamed. Sugar in your blood, it's time to beware. Diabetes and PA.D, they're a deadly pair. Don't ignore the signs, don't let it slide. Get tested, save your legs and your pride. Sugar's not so sweet when your leg is in pain. Not controlling sugar is where peripheral artery disease sets in. Got sugar? Get checked. Don't wait too late. Save your legs, save your life, take control of your fate. When your leg is in pain, not controlling sugar is where peripheral artery disease sets in. Got sugar? Get checked. Don't wait too late. Save your legs, save your life, take control